What's up, guys? I'm back, Brandon Toro here with another episode of whatever. I gotta come up with this name. Once I come up with a name, I'll tell y'all right away. First of all, I want to start off. Have a happy new year. 2016 is around. I just want to say one thing going into this new year. Although we may give ourselves the resolutions that we're gonna try and do to change who we are, to be a better person, just make sure you pray about it, stay focused and your mind on the goal. Because first of all, let's take for example, you're trying to lose 10 pounds. That might be hard at first, but you have to be focused on that goal, because you will not achieve it just on yourself. You have to just focus on the forward, not what other people are telling you. Although it's going to be hard to do whatever that thing is you're trying to do, whether it's trying to get better grades, trying to find a girlfriend, I don't know, let's say, or losing weight. I want to give a verse to start off with. In 1 Corinthians 13, I may have the gift to speak what God has revealed, and I may understand all the mysteries and have all knowledge. I may even have enough faith to move mountains, but if I don't have love, I am nothing. Same thing goes into this new year. If there's one thing that you could focus on, if there's nothing else that you can think of, well, first of all, I want you to pray, bud. I want you to just go to God tonight, before bed, anytime you want to. Just have some solitude, only you and God. Ask Him one thing. What's one thing I can focus on this year? What should the theme for 2016 be for me? Or for you, as yourself? In this verse, if there's nothing else, work on loving others. Love. God is love. God is everything. If we don't love, how can we be a Christian, first of all? So, look through one more time. I may have the gifts to speak what God has revealed. We all have gifts that God has given us. It's up to us to find it. We have to keep praying about it. If we don't do anything about it, it's just going to sit there. We're not going to know. If we're not connected to Jesus in any type of way, if we don't have any type of that relationship, it's just not going to work. And I may understand all mysteries, and I have all knowledge. Going through life, we're going to have some moments in our lives where we're not going to understand what's going on. That's one thing we must focus on, is we're not going to know what the future holds for us. We have to give everything we have to God. Only He knows our plans. He knows the gifts that we need for right now. And going to the next sentence, I may even have enough faith to move mountains. Having the faith that a Christian has compared to anything else, that's one thing that we have that no one else has, which shows why the Christian faith is true, why God is actually real. All these scientists even are proving the same things that the Bible has. Although there's still mysteries to the Bible, anything that archaeologists or scientists have looked up, they always find out. It always backs up the Bible. We haven't found one thing that just like, we look at the science, we're like, oh, that's not there. Just like this thing that Jeff Walling talked about in this TCTC convention last year, that he had a friend who was up in, can't remember, it was somewhere in the Middle East, not Israel, but somewhere near there. There's a thing in the Bible that talked about this king that had this tunnel that had water going through it. What's crazy is that all these years, this has been controversial because no one else has ever found this tunnel that speaks of in the Bible. Until this one day, this group of archaeologists, people going around with like little toothbrushes, they're going through. You can't go hard. We can't have big tools because we might screw up what's going on. You don't want to mess up any type of artifacts that we find. This guy is going through the wall. He makes a hollow noise. He hears it, so he starts chiseling around, starts opening up this huge room that they saw. They're like, oh, we found this room. But then they find out the dream extends, keeps going further. What do they find now? A tunnel. Just like the speaks of the Bible. You can look it up yourselves. I can't remember the exact verse that's in, because, you know, when I do these episodes, I just go out with it. Whatever the Spirit is telling me to tell y'all today, I want to go to the next sentence, the final sentence of 1 Corinthians 13:2. But if I don't have love, I am nothing. Going back to what I was speaking of in the first place, we are nothing if we don't have love. Let's say we have some friends who don't believe in the Christ and what God has said. I have a friend myself who, I don't know, I haven't asked him about his actual faith, but I always keep hearing him about, he always questions about people who wait until marriage. He thinks that's lame or whatever. And another thing too, he doesn't think that Jesus actually lived. Although we have all these people, even scientists, that these people are atheists, and they still know that Jesus Christ existed because of what the Roman Empire did. He stood trials. Jesus Christ stood trials against the Romans. They even know that there was this guy who's Christ going around performing these miracles and all that. That's one thing. If you ever have someone that doesn't think that Jesus actually lived, they don't think that he's real, I want you to tell them that there's people who aren't even Christians who still think that Jesus Christ lived. What that they don't know, they don't think that Jesus Christ was a huge figure that what Christians believe. And just like that, Jesus was love. We should also be love. 2,000 years later, we have to be love. Now, taking out this Bolthouse Farms strawberry banana smoothie, we're talking about 5 bananas. That was random. I had to take a break. And that's my message for y'all today. Just a couple books that y'all can look up if y'all want to go further into what I keep talking about these past few times. One book I've read, it's by John Eldredge. It's called Wild at Heart. And basically it goes through the man's soul, discovering the secret of a man's soul. So, say you got a teenager, you got youth somewhere who they're asking these questions about. It could be anything from having girlfriend problems, that they should read this book, because I'm only about halfway through it so far, and I ultimately think it's given me so many tips on what matures us, things in life that actually matter, the things that we think that we put so much importance in that we shouldn't actually put too much importance on priority, that God's number one. And another book for any of y'all potential youth pastors, such as yours truly, it's called People Skills for Youth Pastors. And let me tell you, now this book isn't just for people who doesn't know how to talk to other people. What it does, whether you're extrovert or introvert, it helps you just have a better understanding of how we can converse with youth or anyone else. And what it says right here, 33 ways to meet more people and make a bigger difference in youth ministry. Now, let's say you think like, oh, I can already talk to people. Well, there's things that I thought I was doing right that helped me even more. I was going through the motions basically. And now, just like this book, I'm halfway through Wild at Heart. I'm only about a quarter of the way through. This is only 100 pages. You could read this in a day. You can read this in a couple hours. Now this book, however, might take you a couple more days. You know, the man's soul is just one book. You read through it, and it's like, oh, okay. It's not like the Bible either. So, yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Today is Saturday, January 2nd. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the week. I know that high school goes back the week after this coming week. I know most college people will leave the weekend after this one. And one thing to always have focus on, that being as a Christian, we shouldn't just try and force the Bible onto someone who doesn't believe in all that, or they haven't learned too much about it. All we have to do is just live a life to where people know that we're Christians. If they ever need help, that we have been able to plant a seed in them, that they could go to us. We could just speak to them, help them grow their relationship with Christ if that time ever came. Although some people, it's said that it might be till the last minutes of their life before they would do that. Still though, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. I know I've said that before, but it's just so important. Not just the Gospel of John, but all four Gospels, even the Old Testament. Everything in the Bible still holds up today. Although there's some culture things that we shouldn't be doing the same exact thing, just like cutting hair or having multiple wives or slavery. It's not that these things are bad, it's just certain things that were banned in the Old Testament don't really hold up today. It's the meaning behind it that we should study the Old Testament for. And that's why the Old Testament is more like the background story, how God got started, how the world got started. New Testament, Jesus comes in love. Both of these things still go through together. All these books, 66 books of the Bible, amazing how everything holds up together, ties the loose ends, and we can read it over and over, and we never can get a full understanding. We can keep reading it every day for the rest of our lives, and we still have something we can learn from it. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and yeah, read the Bible, Jesus Bible pray. Noggin, we're out. Peace.